Have you ever asked someone what they want and they tell you what they don't want? Well, what do you want to achieve in healthcare? Well, I want to avoid cardiovascular disease. Why are you exercising? I don't want to have a heart attack or stroke. Why does he want to lose weight? I want to lose weight so I'm not rejected as much. There's a difference between I want to lose weight and I want to be fit and healthy. There's a difference between I don't want to die and I want to live. There's a difference between I want to get rid of my debt and want to have abundance and prosperity. There's a difference between I want this pain to go away and I want to live a full, healthy life. You're never going to get in life the things you want as long as you keep focusing on the things you don't want. You can't get change in any system until you value where you're at. We must value the disease. We must value the symptoms. We must value the conditions that interrupt our lives, and then understand the nature of how we live life and turn it over to the body's organizing intelligence and see, is it working? Restorative therapeutics is the name we came up with. Restorative therapeutics originally was being called restorative healing, and the editor of the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine said, let's not even assume that restorative healing practitioners seek healing. They don't seek healing. It has nothing to do with healing, because healing is about the person. They want to restore conditions. It used to be that people treated patients. It was the art of medicine. Then they started treating disease. Then they started treating metrics, numbers, blood pressures, because they wind up giving more treatments. But the person got lost in the picture. Reorganizational healing is where all the healers, the people who want to heal and educate people, can come home to. It's a place where we deal with the person and the unique individuals, the unique factors, the ability to heal, the ability to understand, the ability to make change and choice in life. Restorative therapeutics is something different. It seeks to blame and cause shame. What's wrong? Let's find the blame. If all you have is a hammer, the whole world looks like a nail. Each discipline has its way of finding what the cause is. It wants to return a person to the prior minimal state in the past. The symptoms of problem it got rid of. It is biomedical. Biomedical model says healthcare is about reducing paraclinicals, laboratory tests, and symptoms, and restoring a person to where they were before. At best, that's not health. At best, that's trying to put Humpty Dumpty back in the shell. I will tell you, Humpty the Dumpty sat on the wall. Humpty Dumpty had a big fall. All the king's horses, all the king's men couldn't put Humpty together again, because Humpty was meant to be reorganized into scrambled eggs, the next level of that. The motivation for restorative therapeutics is always fear, and people making choices very rarely make conscious choice. They're moving away from something rather than moving towards something. The common assumptions underlying restorative therapeutics: something is disturbing the way a person was feeling and living his life, which is true. But this disturbance is wrong and must be stopped. It's due to an error or a mistake. By stopping the symptom of crisis, the individual can resume as closely as possible his previous life routines or actions. Success there is return to a previous and familiar state. Are you saying the subluxations will cause the problem, and therefore you're going to return them to pre-subluxated state? Well, the state just before the subluxations will produce the subluxation. Common assumptions underlying restorative therapeutics: the physical condition and biomedical tests demonstrate pathology or non-average state is a cause of a person's ill health. Prevention of the condition is important. This is done by earlier testing, biomedical indicators, and earlier treatment. Treatment and symptoms disease will promote or produce greater health and wellness. This model is part of the problem. It is bankrupting nations, and it is killing people. It is making current medical care system one of the top 3 causes of preventable death. That's not talking about how many people die, supposedly what they say is from the disease, as compared to the treatment model. It's not. We're not talking about treatment of disease. What we're talking about is not about adding years to your life. We're talking about adding life to every moment in every year, which makes a life worth living longer and gives better strategies. Now, what seeks you to restore? Usually fear. What seeks you to reorganizing? Hope, trust, courage, knowing, wanting to build a better life. That's a different type of person. Now, restorative therapeutics may save your life at times. It is a crapshoot, but it may save your life at times. I will restore to restorative therapeutics within a reorganizational healing plan. I may say I'm going to restore this while I'm making a bigger plan. Current cardiovascular medicine has started to involve reorganizational healing, not just restoring. They may give a cardiac stent to medications and then tell a person, unless you do exercise, unless you change your mental attitude, unless you lose weight or go on a diet, unless these things happen, you probably won't sustain your change. One comment. There are two towns in Pennsylvania, one next to each other. One town had the average rate of cardiovascular disease. The other rate had the lowest rate of cardiovascular disease in the nation. People from the Center of Disease Control in Atlanta went to research this, thinking they find aerobically fit, meditating vegetarians. They were wrong. What they found was a bunch of obese, cursing, smoking, drinking Italians who had lots of fat and pork in the sauce and the meat. What's interesting about this group is they followed for 30 years, and they wanted to see at what point does this group, if they do, become the national average in cardiovascular disease. So you know what they found? The number one predictor of having the average cardiovascular rate in the country, and by the way, U.S. has the highest rate of cardiovascular disease in the world with all the treatment, that the number one predicting factor was when they no longer had the meal with the family and they felt separate and they moved away. That was the biggest factor. Being home with mama making the sauce, with all the arguing, yelling, and smoking and all the fighting, those people had healthier hearts. So people are blaming things on the physical things we're doing or the actual biochemicals. It's the life we're living. Rigorous healing involves the factors within the individual, the factors in the environment, the social science factors, and they all meet at the spine. They all meet because the spine is the regulator, doctors. The spine is the regulator, chiropractic students. The spine is the regulator of function. The spine is the regulator or modulator of emotion. The spine, through its sensory motor strategies, regulates the sense of self. The spine regulates the ability to make functional choices consistent with the body's calls and signals. The spine is even the ability to actually have spiritual states. Reorganizational healing now, drum roll please, is defined as an approach to healing in life which seeks to optimize existing structures and fields of influence, bringing them into a more dynamic, aware, and responsive state while producing sustainable, emerging properties which can assist in self-regulation, growth, and evolution of the systems. Let's say that again. An approach to healing and life which seeks to optimize, that's not restore, it's optimize, existing structures and fields of influence and bring them into a more dynamic, aware, and responsive state while producing new sustainable emerging properties that's inherent within the individual's wisdom, which can assist in self-regulation, growth, and evolution of systems. Therefore, NSA is a reorganizational healing system of the spine because it develops new sustainable emerging properties assisting in self-regulation, growth, and evolution. Reorganizational